What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have why Nandos Australia is an absolute basket case. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let's get right to it.
You've probably heard of Nando's, that cheeky South African-born chicken joint famous for its Afro-Portuguese roots, flame-grilled peri-peri chicken, and branding.
I didn't know it was South African. I've heard of Nando's. I've never eaten Nando's. I don't know if we have it here well, I guess maybe not around me. But if you've had it, how good is it?
Somehow combines street art with sarcastic Twitter energy. In places like the UK, it's practically a rite of passage. In South Africa, it's a national treasure. And in the US, it's still emerging, but slowly gathering heat. But in Australia, Nando's is in absolute shambles. The chain is unraveling, plagued by legal battles, mass store closures, and bitter franchise disputes. What was once a rising star in the Aussie fast casual dining scene has turned into a cautionary tale of how not to run a franchise network. So, how did it all go so wrong? Let's set the table with some history. Nando's arrived in Australia in the early 1990s. The timing was pretty solid. Australia was starting to embrace multicultural flavors, the food court was going global, and the Nando's vibe offered something different. Not quite fast food, not quite a sit-down restaurant, but something fun, fresh, and a little exotic. The peri-peri sauce had people talking, the funky in-store murals stood out, and the brand leaned into its offbeat charm with tongue-in-cheek humor. By the mid-2010s, Nando's had exploded across the country. At its peak, the company had over 270 stores in Australia, spanning major cities and suburban centers. You'd see them everywhere, tucked into food courts, high streets, and standalone locations.
And they went from that being that popular in Australia to falling off a cliff? What happened?
Bright interiors, Afro-Luso music, and a menu that somehow made grilled chicken feel gourmet, Nando's had carved out its own niche in Australia's competitive fast food space. But beneath the flavorful surface, the business was starting to rot. Like many global chains, Nando's operates on a franchise model, a structure where individual entrepreneurs or franchisees buy the rights to operate a Nando's restaurant using the brand name, product, and systems in exchange for fees.
Got you.
It's a common approach in the food industry.
Yes.
McDonald's and Domino's does it. If done right, it can fuel rapid growth without the company footing the entire bill. But when it goes wrong, it gets ugly. Over the past several years, Nando's Australia has been embroiled in legal battles with its own franchisees. Multiple former store owners have accused the company of acting in bad faith, breaching contracts, misleading them, and even forcing them into financial hardship. The biggest flashpoint? Store refurbishments. Nando's allegedly demanded that some franchisees carry out expensive renovations on their restaurants. In some cases, just a few years after the stores were built. If franchisees didn't comply, Nando's could terminate the franchise agreement. In effect, some owners say they were given a choice: spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a refurb or lose your store. And we're not talking hypothetical here. Several former franchisees went to court claiming they were given extremely short notice to make costly upgrades.
I want to read this. A Melbourne mom who spent a decade running a $25,000 a week Nando's store. God dang. Before losing her business worth more than $1 million is getting revenge on the South African chain by starting her own competing brand. Now Christina Wu, 62, who ran the Chevron Building Nando's store in St. Kilda from 2005 until 2016, wants to take other disgruntled franchisees under the wing of her Capriccio Grill and treat them the right way. Some of my friends are the same story. Yeah. I don't think you should be able to do. I think as long as the food is being sent out and they aren't getting a ton of complaints, I don't think the franchise should be able to destroy the contract because they don't want to do new refurbish everything. Like, especially if they just got this store a couple years before, like nobody refurbishes that fast. So, especially expensive, you can't force them to do that. I feel like.
And when they pushed back, Nando's terminated their agreements and then offered to buy back the stores at rock-bottom prices. These were allegations of breach of contract, unconscionable conduct, and misleading and deceptive behavior under Australian consumer law. In one case, a Melbourne franchisee took legal action after Nando's abruptly ended their franchise agreement, citing a failure to renovate the store. The franchisee argued that the timing was unreasonable and that the company didn't act in good faith. They even sought an injunction to stop Nando's from shutting down their store, but lost in court.
Dang.
In other cases, owners claimed they were misled about store profitability, pressured into opening unprofitable locations, or given vague promises that never materialized. And these weren't isolated incidents. A pattern emerged where corporate would micromanage, financially squeeze, and then cut loose franchisees when they became inconvenient.
Nah, that's crazy.
By 2019, more than 1 in 5 Nando's stores in Australia had closed. That's over 50 restaurants.
Yeah, that to me is just insane. Nando's, a company, the corporation, has too much power over the franchisees to be able to shut them down whenever they want. It seems like for whatever they want, and so yeah, I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that. They shouldn't have that much power. I feel like maybe there's a certain fee that you got to pay the Nando's every month or every year or whatever for the name and the recipes and all of that. But you can't, outside of the cooking and what we're putting out, you can't tell me how to run my store. You can't tell me I need to do renovation.
Some closures may have been due to natural causes like expiring leases or poor sales. The scale of the shutdowns, combined with the lawsuits, painted a picture of a franchise system in serious decline. And then came COVID. Like every other hospitality brand, Nando's was hit hard by the pandemic. But unlike chains like KFC or McDonald's, Nando's had a major weakness: no drive-thrus. Most of their restaurants were dine-in focused, and while they did offer delivery and takeaway, they weren't built for a world of lockdowns. With people stuck at home and dining rooms closed, revenue plummeted. However, some competitors adapted quickly. Others, like Guzman y Gomez and Grilled, had already built delivery-first models. But Nando's? The business was already under strain, and the pandemic accelerated the collapse. More stores closed. The brand retreated even further into silence. So, what exactly went wrong? Why did a beloved international brand crash and burn in a market that, on paper, should have loved it? Well, part of it comes down to control versus collaboration. A successful franchise network relies on trust. The franchisor provides the brand, the systems, and the support. The franchisee brings local knowledge, investment, and hard work.
There you go.
But in Nandos Australia, franchisees say the relationship became adversarial. Instead of helping them thrive, Nando's corporate was seen as dictating terms, making demands, and punishing non-compliance with swift shutdowns. One other factor is profitability. If you're a franchisee paying royalties, marketing fees, fit-out costs, and being told to renovate every few years, you expect a solid return on investment.
For sure.
But several franchisees claimed their stores were barely breaking even. Add on COVID, inflation, and rising lease costs, and suddenly you're bleeding cash. And when Nando's pulled the plug, some of these operators were left with massive losses and little recourse.
Dang.
And then there's the legal environment.
That ain't right. That ain't right at all, bro. Nando's was absolutely dirty to the franchisees in Australia. I don't know if they're like that to the other franchisees in other countries, but they did these Australian owners absolutely awful.
Australia has relatively strong protections for franchisees under consumer law. Franchisors are expected to act in good faith, and if they're found to have acted in a way that's misleading, deceptive, or unconscionable, they can be held accountable. That's why these disputes didn't stay behind closed doors. They ended up in the headlines and the courts. So, where is Nando's Australia now? Well, it still exists, technically. There are still Nando's stores scattered around the country, but the vibe is different. The company has gone radio silent on its expansion. The website looks frozen in time. They barely have a social media presence. It feels like the brand is treading water or even waiting for the heat to die down. Meanwhile, other chicken chains are taking over. El Jannah is killing it with Lebanese-style charcoal chicken. Gammy Chicken is bringing Korean fried chicken to the mainstream.
Ooh.
Red Rooster, once the butt of jokes, is making a genuine comeback. And Macca's, they're now selling spicy chicken burgers that basically scream, "We saw Nando's drop the ball and ran with it."
Damn, McSpicy.
What makes this even more bizarre
Yeah, we've been having. Is that a spicy McChicken or just spicy chicken sandwich at McDonald's? Cause spicy McChicken.
is that Nando's is still crushing it in other parts of the world. In the UK, it's cultural currency. Celebs name drop it in songs. University students practically live on Nando's platters. In South Africa, it's still a national obsession. Even in parts of the Middle East, Nando's is expanding rapidly. The brand works, the food is solid, the marketing is clever, the sauces are still addictive. So why did it fail in Australia? Simple. The business model broke down. Nando's didn't lose because of the product, it lost because it alienated the very people running the stores.
There you go.
It became a story not about spicy chicken, but about franchisees feeling cornered, corporate overreach, and a system that forgot how to support the people on the front lines. At the end of the day, Nandos Australia didn't collapse because customers stopped loving the food. It collapsed because the relationship between franchisor and franchisee became toxic. It collapsed because legal battles replaced loyalty. Because the business stopped serving the people who were supposed to grow it. So the next time you walk past an empty retail space where a Nando's used to be and wonder what happened, remember this: it wasn't the sauce, it was the system that got grilled. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss out on more deep dives like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay curious.
That was definitely a great video. Shout out to Nandos Australia. If you guys enjoyed that, don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. And I don't know why I shouted out Nandos Australia. Y'all did Australia very dirty. Y'all, the franchise ease, y'all don't care not one bit about. And if you don't get it, they the people supposed to be expanding your stores, growing your stores, and you ain't giving them no love. That's all we got. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, check out the next. I'll see y'all next time.